I mean, it all starts with semen. You know? My semen, mostly.
In every case. All around the world.
In the case of both of my children.
My progeny.
My semen has been involved.
At the ground floor.
Yeah, the ground floor, really. I mean, it was there from the beginning. So,
what are we talking about?
When a man loves a woman.
So this is Orlando, Conrad Hayes. He is my son and Darlin's son, and my heir, and he is the cutest baby in the world. So, got that going for him.
Gamers are aging as a demographic. Like back when I was a teenager, you didn't have 30-year-old gamers. They were almost non-existent. Gamers are getting older, they're having children, they're starting families, and it is in a lot of ways sort of undiscovered territory. People are sort of going, oh, well, wait a second. How do I be a parent and a gamer? And a lot of people are just looking for guidance in those areas.
You release a lot of stuff on games and have introduced me for it, but I also know from your blog you're both really involved in your kids' lives. How do you actually have time? How do you manage it?
You don't realize before you're a parent how much time you have. And you people that don't have kids just fucking waste all of it. I mean, have you recognized this?
Oh, I knew that right away.
It's fucking
from the
frustrating.
From the first week.
You don't do jack shit with your time.
Just fuck off.
You definitely have to find that time, but there's no question. You are not telling me anything I don't know. It's tough work, but it gets pretty fresh later because then they can play the games with you. Right?
Yeah.
Obviously the specific game is important. Let's be careful. But eventually you can do that stuff yourself. You can play Minecraft. Like you can make a castle with your kids and it is banging.
Mike and Jerry have been very generous in allowing all of us to kind of share in their children. They've put the kids in the strip. They've done comics about a lot of really funny parenting moments that have happened to them that we can all identify as. That's a really generous thing when you stop to think about it. Like they're letting us look at them as parents. There were comic strips when their wives were pregnant, and there were, all of the fears and the concerns that they had then. They shared those with everybody. So I think they know that Mike and Jerry have already been really generous in describing those moments. So I think they feel comfortable asking. Mike and Jerry have been really great about, saying, sure, yeah, I'll tell you how we do it, and maybe this works for you.
I teach primary school, and I have a lot of parents come to me often asking how do they regulate the amount of video games that their children play, and I feel really unqualified to answer that question because I'm so conflicted.
And generally speaking, I think that having a set amount of screen time per day is sort of the accepted way to manage it.
I think that's ridiculous. It's about content. I think that, if I'm not going to let my son watch cartoons for 4 hours straight, but if he's building working machines in Minecraft, I'm not going to tell him to stop. Yep. I think it completely depends on what they're doing, and the problem is that requires the parent to be engaged.
Right.
Sorry, a lot of parents just don't want to do that. They want to use it as a babysitter. But I think that if you pay attention to what your kid is playing and what they're getting out of it, that's what you need to do. You can't just have something arbitrary like you have 30 minutes or you have 45 minutes. That's silly. You actually have to look at what they're doing and find out what they're getting from it. Great. When we were about to have Gabe, I was just desperate to talk to anybody who could give me some advanced idea of what the fuck was about to happen.
You didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
And
he told me to get Brenda pregnant right away.
Yeah. I was like, I need someone to go through. I'll do it if you can't. If you don't have it in you.
To my credit.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, it's scary. I think you just are hungry for anyone like you who's going through the same thing.
I'll be back this weekend.
Good.
You'll be better.
Okay.
Will you be in town?
Yeah.
All right, let's hang out.
Okay.
You should bring the family over.
Okay.
And never, ever stop posting videos of meltdowns.
Oh, you saw that?
That was great.
I don't think Jerry's seen it.
Everyone.
I have totally seen it.
You saw it?
That's every fucking night in my house.
How did you see it? You're not on Facebook. Oh, Brenna saw it?
Oh. What was his deal? What did he not want to do?
Go to bed,
He
probably.
didn't want to go to bed.
Oh, well, he's got to go to bed.
He's got to go to
Well,
bed.
see, but here's the deal, right? Is that he can see Gabe on the couch,
Yeah, I mean,
and Gabe's cuddling with.
Gabe's playing video games and laughing at him the whole time.
I couldn't tell if you were laughing or not.
I was laughing.
Okay.
Oh, and then Karen was laughing too. Like,
Well,
'cause
Kara was laughing like
we were
crazy.
laughing because he never does that. It was really bizarre.
That's every night at my fucking house.
That's
I saw it. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be nuts, and I was like,
He's not gonna hold it.
He's too asleep.
There you go. Like a year into my tenure at PA, that's when Mike came in and was like, hey, my wife's pregnant, and we all celebrated, and that was like the first, PA kid, right? Gabe. And over the years, each of those guys has 2 kids now, and all the rest of my buddies who are married and had kids. And so I've got a bunch of pioneers, to look at who have gone forth and have successfully maintained their eccentric interests. And now those kids are mobile and they're running around, and you can kind of see them start to become interested in games. Obviously Gabe, again, is the eldest, and he's rocking and rolling in Minecraft and all the rest of that stuff. It's a lot less scary when you have good examples of buddies who have gone before.
My son is 6 years old now. He was born in August of 2007, and his name is Ethan. I love being a gamer parent. I am raising him to be my co-op partner in all things video game. I need a wingman in my co-op, Gears of War 5 or whatever, when he's old enough. The downside is because I'm a gamer parent, I know which games are appropriate for him and which aren't. Which games he has access to versus what his friends will probably have access to are going to be very different.
I never assumed that my kids would all also be gamers. If they had not shown any interest in it or whatever, that would have been fine. Unlikely, considering that our entire house is kind of steeped in it. It makes sense that they're gonna want to take part in that as well. That's what we as a family do together.
As far as being gamer parents, it's just like anything else. Everything has to do with moderation and making sure you keep your priorities straight, and that's, right now our child. And so I think it's cool for Mike to game, and I actually game a bit too. And so I think the big deal is making sure that we take turns. Who can game tonight, and who's got baby duty and changing the diapers and running upstairs when he's crying. I'm kind of afraid right now about what it's going to take to actually childproof this house, because if you look around, there's a sword or a dagger on every shelf. So
Almost every shelf.
almost every shelf. It's a little scary.
Half the shelves. But, those are relics and heirlooms. That's his one day, and that's cool.
You have to assess your kids, and you're the best judge as a parent of what would be appropriate and what isn't. And it's certainly not the same kid for kid.
They want to know if it's still possible. It's totally possible. I mean, it's mostly about time management. Because like we said, that you would be shocked to learn how much time is being invested improperly.
I recognize that we're in a position to share a lot of information, useful information that people are looking for. So there's a lot of ways of looking at it, and we have that information, so why not share it?
What can you do as a person to make the world a better place, right? But dial that way down to just your immediate environment. That's the kind of thing that I want to, instill in Orlando. Which, come to think of it, that's sort of like gamer values. Games are the modern world's parables, right? Like, this is how moral values are conveyed to a mass audience nowadays. Gamers, we've done this our whole lives, is experiencing these parables, these morality plays with explosions and lasers, right? But it has an effect, and we like to rescue the princess. We will run towards the sound of danger, not away from it, because we've done it thousands of times, as our chosen entertainment, right? As our chosen eccentric pursuit. So, those values, absolutely we want to convey them to our kid, of course. Yeah. That's why I think gamers make great parents.